Hey! How's it going, everybody? Chef Jeremiah Bullfrog here, and we're gonna cut it up. It's Wednesday, 7 o'clock. Y'all know what that means. Guys, if you're with me, drop it in the comments below. Let me know you're on. Let me know you're signed in. We're gonna get started in a minute. I think Jose is waiting for a couple more people to join. So if you're with me, drop it in. Let me know where you're at, who you are. We're going to get interactive on this one. We got Pommes Frites for everybody. Fried potatoes, everybody's favorite. We're going to run down a couple of my favorites. We're going to do a few dishes. And in the meantime, Jose, drop that intro. Hey! Here we go. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Live. 7 o'clock. Isolation station. The isolation station. What's good? You know what that means. Here we go. Go. Boom. There it is. Now we're official. Jeremiah Bullfrog Cuts it up. Pommes Frites edition. Fried potatoes. Shout out to Michelle. Shout out to Ira. Queens is most definitely in the building. We have in-house decoration. The production team is led by Carla. You may know her as my lovely wife. And she's assisted by the lovely Sabine on the art department. Appreciate you noticing all the hard work that goes into the little details to the show. So I thought we'd start off and just ease our way into Potato Town while we wait for a couple people to join us. People got to finish up their Zoom meetings, and it's crazy out there, guys. So the idea of the show is to run down. Shout out to Len also for joining us. Lenny will probably remember when we did the Cheeseburger General way back when. And I just did a quickie version of some fries, right? Some frites. And so I wanted to come full circle and get back into fried potatoes. Because like I said then, man, that'd be really cool if we had like a flashback of me saying that. But at any rate, you could imagine it. I think fried potatoes is a whole episode onto its own. If you've ever tried to make fried potatoes at home, you may have hit a couple of roadblocks. So we're going to do the step-by-step holding the hand to get you to make at least one of these. I've got a cool recipe for chips. Now on chips, that's American-style chips. If you were in the UK, that would be crisps. So this is where it gets confusing, right, guys? So chips in the UK is fries as we know it. So let's just stick to pommes frites because that's fried potatoes. All right, hope I didn't confuse anybody. Shout out to Steve, the old blind mind, joining. Hope you got yourself a dram, my dude. Cheers to you. I'm staying sober so far on this one. If things start to go sideways, I may pour myself a little nipper. So let's get into it, right? So we got chips, we got crisps, whatever you want to call them. We're going to do the old American-style potato chips. I've got 2 different recipes. If you look down below in the description, you could check those out. Very easy. All of the potato recipes are utilizing these bad boys. So we've got the old Idaho russet. The russet potato is it's low in wax, it's high in starch, and that's exactly what you need to make delicious fried crispy potatoes. So there's a couple of little tips and tricks I'm gonna kind of school you guys on as well. But the idea of the potato, right, is that it's, especially the russet, it's super absorbent. It's basically a sponge. When you cook potatoes in water, they soak all that up. If you're doing something like mash, I highly recommend you cook the potatoes whole in their skin to prevent all that liquid from entering. But that's another episode. On the chips and on the fries, there's a pretty sweet little trick. The science behind it is it's very it makes a lot of common sense when you break it down. So adding some vinegar or some acid, in this case we just use plain white distilled vinegar, into your water, what it does is it helps, the acid helps slow the breakdown of the pectin of the potato, right? So what that's doing is the potato's breaking down as it cooks, but it's going to hold its shape a little better. Shout out to Kenji López, the Food Lab, Serious Eats. He's got the science behind it. He's got a really cool book. There's a super cool quote from the book in the description. You guys can check that out as well. And so that's the basis of it, right? We're going to take our potatoes, we're going to scrub them real well, we're going to peel them, and then for fries, we'll cut our fries. I like these skinny fries I've been doing lately. I do a couple of different versions. We're going to do skinnies today. And if we have the time, we're going to do a steak frites, classic steak and fries French dish. And then I thought we'd do a little play on fish and chips. Something a little different, a little Jeremiah Bullfrog spin. So, Jose, can you show us how to make potato chips crispy as please?
Once a little old lady named Laura Scudder had a thing about potato chips. She hated chips that sounded like... Now I ask you, who likes chips that sound like...
Right, let's get to it, lads. Straight away we call these crisps. But you cheeky say chips.
Hey kids, let's learn how to make potato chips.
Slice thinly on a mandolin so they are all the same size. 2 pounds or 1 kilo of red bliss potatoes, about 3 millimeters thickness. Scrub them well, rinse in cold water to remove starch and soak. In a large pot of boiling water, add 18 grams of salt, 60 milliliters white vinegar. Acid slows the breakdown of pectin, which keeps their shape. Boil potato chips for 3 minutes. Pre-cooking in water rinses off excess simple sugars that will burn when fried and activates an enzyme to ensure crunchy crisps.
A posh chip.
After about 2 pints or so and your local pub, strain and pat dry the potatoes. Drain onto a rack and allow to cool completely. A freezer or fan works splendid. And have another pint. Heat a large heavy pot of oil to 170 degrees Celsius. The potato crisps should cook up in about 10 minutes until they stop bubbling in the grease. Another pint is in order in it. Keep the temperature steady. Move them around a bit. Remove from oil onto a rack. Into a bowl they go. Dust with seasoned salt quite literally, liberally. Serve. Do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself out. That's what it's all about. Governor.
Governor. think? That's one of my first videos I did for YouTube back in the day. I thought it was pretty poignant to give it a fresh little refresh here on the old Cuts It Up live. Let's break it up a little, guys. Let's have fun. I'm gonna sip on my got a little green juice. Doing a little detox myself. Try to keep it fresh. Try to keep it slim. Trying to stay healthy. Now is one of my favorite parts of the show. Jose, can we check on Cam 2 and see how we're looking down in Potato Town? Awesome. All right, you can come back up. Thank you, sir. Technology, sometimes it gets the better of us, not going to lie. It is a live show. You never know what's going to happen. But let's start getting into it, guys. I'm gonna do chips first. We'll do our play on fish and chips. Then we'll roll into Fry Town, all right? As always, if you have any questions, if I went too fast, if I said something you didn't understand, or if you just want to comment maybe something in your repertoire, drop it in the comments below. We're here to interact. Jose's pretty good at catching all and keeping us all in contact. So I'm just going to scrub some potatoes, and then we'll peel them. Just to run it through, guys. I know y'all know how to do this, but, it is Pommes Frites. Maybe Jose he'll cut in between and give you a little fancy down shot, and then cut back up, and we'll chat it out. We'll chop it up here as well. So, it is real important to scrub your potatoes. Even if you are going to peel them, potatoes are, they're grown in dirt, it is a root, it is a tuber, so no playing around there, plus whoever picked your potatoes and then they sit in like these silos for quite some time, you don't really know, what they touched or how they were handled before you got them, or even in the super, right, or in the market. So scrub your potatoes well. And you could see here, just by giving it a quick once-over, that first layer just comes right off. It makes your water pretty dirty. One of the tricks to potatoes, and you'll see me doing this throughout the episode, is changing the water out. Brian, welcome back. My total wine maybe did go bad. But here we go with the old potato Is that a word? I'm not sure. I'm going to peel up some potatoes. Again, I know you guys know how to do it, but sometimes watching a chef do it can be fun. This is one of the more relaxing jobs in the kitchen, so you should enjoy it. I remember being in Noma out in Copenhagen, and I'd get there early, and I'd jump into the little prep kitchen with Ali, the infamous dishwasher, or the famous dishwasher, I just should say, and I would just peel some veg. We'd peel a bunch of vegetables for the juice tasting menu, so every day, bang out some carrots, and I just... I got in a habit of doing it. Most guys who consider themselves a chef didn't want to do that kind of thing, but I was like, screw it. I'm in Copenhagen. I'm going to peel up some veg. So you can see I use the peeler. I like to pull back. This is a method that I enjoy. I feel like you get more control with your strokes here, and it does light work. You can see I'm peeling into a paper towel, as well. A good tip and trick. The peels could still have some dirt on them, so you'd be getting your surface dirty. I did have a chef who would come around and yell at us if we had anything on our cutting board that sort of like wasn't edible, any peels or stuff like that. So good habits to form. And just like that, we've got some peeled potatoes. I've got a bunch that I peeled earlier. And you may notice, so see that? We just take the paper towels with the peels, give it a little wipe-a-roo, and we get rid of it. It's also easy on the old cleanup. All right, so into Potato Town we go. So as I was saying earlier, you want to have some white vinegar in your water. This is going to help. It's going to help keep the pectins from breaking. The acid helps slows the breakdown of the pectins on the potato. And what we're doing here, you'll see I'm going to change the water a couple times as well. So we're kind of getting rid of all that excess starch, which is sugar. What does sugar do when you cook it? It browns pretty quickly. So if you want those perfectly crisp, whether it's chips or even fries, is you need to help get some of that surface starch off. And then by changing the water and having lots of clean water is one of the best ways. All right, so time to slice a roux. This here is my favorite mandolin, specifically for slicing. I have a different one for julienne and for eating potatoes. But this is the Kyocera, which is a Japanese brand. They make ceramic knives, and they have these ceramic mandolins as well. It's adjustable. The cool thing here is you get pretty precise cuts. And so on these, I'm going to start slicing just so we keep going here. So on this Kyocera mandolin, it's going to give you a very, very precise cut, right? So take a look at these bad boys, super, super thin. It is, you can probably see right through it. It is a 1.3 millimeter thickness on these. These are like these skinny chips. The ones in the video are a bit thicker. And so if you saw that, the recipe there calls for parboiling those. These chips you can just do straight away. As long as you have some vinegar in the water, you're going to be good to go. And then another important tip is you want to have your fry oil preheated in your pot. You can see that here. I've got the old Control Freak induction burner set up with the probe to control the temp for me. So we're going to be frying here in lickety split. Take a look at these bad boys. I mean, one potato. These are smallish potatoes as well. I like. Yeah, Brian. I know sometimes you can't find the russets. I know they come in 5-pound bags as well. Red potatoes, they do work for this recipe. I would suggest going a little thicker, and I would also suggest that you boil them first. So if you see this water, it's kind of murk, right? It's pretty murky there. I'm going to swap it out. So just in a whatever sieve you have, I just happen to have a chinois, because that's what I do, So boom, potatoes are strained. We got rid of some of that starch. Now I'm going to top it off with a little clean water, and you'll start to see that these babies are going to curl up just a touch, not too much. But this is what you want, right? You want these beautiful thin potatoes. Let's go up on one. Let's see how that looks. Pretty cool, no? I mean, these are paper thin potato chips. And again, so I got two recipes for you guys. You can do the thicker ones, which you blanch, and then these super thin ones. And I've got some that I did earlier, and they've just been soaking in the vinegar water. Same exact thing. I'm going to strain these off, and we'll pat them dry just to get as much moisture off of them as we can. And we're going to just go ahead and fry them. And then, boom, we got one recipe done. What do you guys think so far? Do you think you guys can make potato chips at home? Do me a favor while you're commenting. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't. Give me a thumbs up on the channel. We're trying to build the old YouTube I'm not a 14-year-old. I'm not a 14-year-old, so I'm a little late to the YouTube game. But as always, I appreciate y'all rocking out with me. Jose, let's go down to Potato Town, and you can see the oil's hot. You can check it by dropping one in, and you see it's going to start. Yep. Now don't overcrowd your pan or your fry pot. One of the most important tips and tricks to frying. And then you want to move these suckers all around, right? You want the potatoes to do the hokey pokey. You want to flip them. You want to stir them. You want to make sure they don't stick together. And you've got lots of oil in this pot. And you don't have, you've got plenty of space, right? Super, super important. I like to always keep a rack as well. So as soon as they come out, we can drain them right away. And this is just, really good fry technique. I know you guys have seen me rock out some stuff fried on this live stream before. Here we have canola oil as our base, and then a little smoked beef fat. I wanted to just take these chips up to the next level. I had a little beef fat left over from some short ribs. And there you go. We're connecting the dots again from episode to episode. Time is a flat circle. So these chips don't really take long. If you were doing it on a timer, I'm going to say it's about 5 minutes. What you don't want to do is you're not really going to get too much color on these. And even if you did, if you waited for these to get golden brown, by the time you pull them out, they're gonna go pretty quick. With frying, you do have carryover cooking, right? They're in this hot oil. Look here, you can see this sucker, right? We've got nice color on this one already. Okay. And then when you pull them out, a lot of the chips they're gonna cook a little differently, right? Depending on if it was from the middle of the potato or from the end. The smaller it is, the quicker it cooks. So keep vigilant watch. But these babies are just about done. I'm gonna start pulling them out. I like to go on a rack first, so we drain all the excess. This oil is at 325 Fahrenheit. It's the perfect temperature to fry these chips at. If you went hotter, you wouldn't be able to get them crisp in time. Brian's asking for some seasonings. Yeah, Old Bay chips are obviously awesome. Let's go back up on one. Old Bay chips are pretty awesome. Something that we used to rock out was I used to do powdered mushroom powder, right? I'm going to hit these with just some straight salt. Mushroom powder is pretty awesome. Porcini. So I'm just tossing these chips. But you can see just like that, boom, potato chips are done. Check out the crisp here. Just listen. I mean, can't beat that, right? Crispy chips. You can make them in huge batches, small batches. It's, it's all the same. And just like that, guys, boom. Recipe 1 in the bag. Now let's see what we can do with serving these chips. I'm going to run into a cool little play on fish and chips. So let's take a look at how that started. Boom, 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 boom. So there it is. There's a little dish that I'm putting together. I found this is based on turbo fish, flat fish, similar to like a cod or even like a flounder. It's pretty buttery. It's wildly popular in Europe. It is a sustainable fish, so you want to look into those kinds of things. And this is old school. This is like I was doing this in the 90s. This is potato crusted. And so if you saw in that video, it is labor intensive, it is time consuming, so I didn't have time to do it on the old live. But we're gonna start searing that off in the pan. Just getting the old jet burner heated up while we're getting ready for that. I'll just talk you through some of the points that you may have missed. And then we'll sear off the fish. We'll take that one to the plate and boom, fish and chips. Literally chips here. My burner's sizzling and you hear those magnets. So I think there's a dog going crazy somewhere listening to that. All right, so going back, Brian, on the oil for frying, you want something with a high smoke point. You want a canola oil. Lard is great. I told you what I did here is that it was mostly canola, and then we just put in a little smoked beef fat. So here we go. We're going to sear off this fish, and we'll take it to the plate. So a little bonus there. You guys get to see a little fish cookery. Let's go down to 2. So I've got my beautiful stainless pan heating up. I'm going to add a little, this is just grapeseed oil. It's neutral. It's got a good smoking point. And then you want to wait for that to shimmer. We got about, it's pretty high heat. You can see the fish, right? We layered on that clarified butter. So we'll go ahead and get this fish with the butter in the oil, and that's the sound you want to hear. Give it a little jiggle to make sure it ain't gonna stick. And so there we go. We're cooking a piece of fish, guys. On the garnishing here, while the fish is cooking, I wanted to go something sort of seasonal, something a little local, something kind of Miami. So I just came up with some cool garnishes, nothing crazy. I've got this amazing green mango puree. A really good friend of mine this morning gave me these awesome green mangoes. They smell a little, it's tart, right? An unripe fruit like green papaya, green mango. It has like sort of this different sort of acidity to it. It's almost astringent, but it's quite enjoyable. And so I wanted to do this beautiful bright puree. So I'm going to start just taking it to the plate. The fish is pretty thin, so it doesn't take that long to cook. And so I've got this awesome bowl from front of the house. Shout out to Jennifer Gomez. And then so, boom, nice little layer of green mango. We've got some cool, it's kind of like East Indian vibes going on with this dish to play with the turbo. I've got this awesome, this is just an herb puree, some mint, some basil, and it's going to bring some nice brightness and acidity. Along with that, I also have this thinner version of that. We'll just make it a little art here, because we gotta express ourselves, right, guys? Right? I gotta have fun too. And then here's the same green mango that I went and diced pretty thin, and it's just quick pickled with a little lime juice, some shallot. Almost like a fresh chutney, if you will. So again, with that sort of Indian vibe going on. And then we're just going to plate that up. So we want to pair this fish that's kind of a little fatty with a couple of different components to brighten it up and to sort of cut through that fattiness. I've got this amazing Fresh Origins micro basil. This is the purple one, just to make it look pretty and to bring that basil flavor profile. Guys, what do you think so far, huh? We made some chips. Now we're doing a cool play on fish and chips. Tell you what, while this fish finishes cooking, Jose, give him a little tease. Let's take a look at the Pommes tunes.
Fries, 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 fries.
It's not Wednesday until you see the old cartoons coming out. So you can see I'm just finishing this beautiful dish here, and then we're just layering more potatoes, more chips right on top of the turbo. You know, so you're gonna get this beautiful sort of like crunchy vibe, right? This crunchy texture, and the buttery flakiness on the fish. It's pretty awesome. I thought of it, just sort of popped in my brain. I've never really done a version like this of this dish. And then I just took the ends of all my potatoes, and I just did a quick little mash or a little potato puree. So we'll do that as well. Again, adding to the different texture profile. When you're creating food, you want to make sure that you think about that. And boom, there it is, guys. One dish down, one dish in the bag. What do you think? Here we go. Watch me flow. Jeremiah Bullfrog forks it. Let's take a look on one. See if we can get a nice tilt on it. Let me see two again, sorry. And there it is. I don't know if you guys are getting it in the light. What do you think, Jose? Man, are we getting a good shot of this beauty or what? Fish and chips, Jeremiah Bullfrog style, right here live on Cuts It Up. Dish one in the bag. Here we go. So that's chips, guys. Back on one. Sorry. So that's potato chips. Obviously, we did a pretty cool sort of tongue-in-cheek on the chips part of the fish and chips. You know, that's what I do. And then so you saw on the old tunes, right? We got fries all over the place. So let's get to it. The main event. Lenny, thank you, appreciate it. I know why you guys are here, though. You guys want to learn to make my delicious French fries. So, fries are, they're really not that difficult, right? It is a time-consuming task to make your own French fries. Sure, you can buy a bag in the super, in the market, but once you learn the recipe, and then it's kind of a technique, right? Once you learn it, you're going to make them for yourself, for your friends, for your family, for your loved ones. And then I'm going to show you this cool little thing what you could do, that you could just load it up, and you could always have fries at the top. So J.R. Simplot and McDonald's spent millions of dollars on research of making French fries. And one of the cool things they found was that when you freeze French fries, not only is it super convenient because you could fry them right from the freezer, but what they figured out is that the freezing actually helps it, right? Because what you're doing when you're frying is you are replacing the moisture content inside the potato. Remember, it's like a sponge; they're very absorbent, especially these russets. And so you're replacing all the water in the potato with basically oil. So when the water vaporizes, when you start to cook, the oil is going to start to take its place. So what you do is a 2-part fry on some French fries, right? Pommes Frites. We're talking French fry technique here. So you wanna. I'm gonna go ahead and start slicing while we're talking, so we stay on track. I want to show you guys. I want to cook up a big old steak in a pan so we can do steak frites. So this one's a little different on the cut. This is the Japanese mandolin, and it's got the teeth in there. I'm sure you can see them. It's a weird angle, but there they are, right? So these teeth are what make the shape of the fries. You could do different size teeth for this one in particular. There's a bunch of cool slicers on the market. Obviously, always be careful. Jose, if you want to just go down the 2, I'm going to start slicing, and we're going to be careful because these are small potatoes. Small potatoes. And you know what? Let's be smart about it, guys. Hold on. Let me put my fry oil back on. Right? Because you need your mise en place in place, right? Before you start, you need to have everything ready. So again, I was sort of alluding to the old. All right, we're looking good here, guys. I've got this oil preheating. I'm gonna crank it up to 375 so it's ready. I do have some fries that are blanched, so back down to 2. Thank you, sir. So oil's heating up, same oil, and a little vinegar in the water. We're gonna just start slicing, and we're gonna be careful. And then we're doing these. I like these. These are little skinny fries. On this green mandolin, if you use the wide teeth that come with it, and you back out this sort of little screw here. I don't know. Yeah, here we go up here. If you back out that screw, then you're making perfectly sized fries. Looks like we may have a little issue on the old Camp 2, but we're pros here. We're going to push right through. Guys, any questions on the French fry technique so far? We've got peeled potatoes, and I'm cutting them on the Mandy without cutting my fingers. Most important thing here is that they're all the same size. Thank you, Michelle. Brian, on the you're alluding to restaurants who don't clean their oil, and it's funny that you said fish, because when oil starts to break down when you fry, what happens is it starts to smell like fish. It's the actual oil. You don't even have to cook fish in it. But this oil is delicious. It's got that smoked beef fat in it. And we've just been doing potatoes, so we're off to the races. I feel like I want to. Here we go. Let me just show you these fries. I'm gonna work on Cam 2 so y'all can see everything properly. So Jose, let's take a look at Pommes Frites prep.
fries, 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 fries. Fries, 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 fries.
Boom, 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 boom. Hope you guys dug that one. That is an original song too. So if you guys want to use that on your TikTok videos, hit me up. Oh wait, sorry, wrong demographic. So there it is. Luckily, we saved by the bell on the old Pommes Frites prep. And so that's how we got to this stage here. I could go ahead and blanch the fries, but you just saw it. And seeing how we're having some technical difficulties, I don't want to risk it. But here we go. Check this out. These were the fries that I blanched earlier and you just saw. And they've been in the freezer, right? So I was just kind of like hinting to the fact that what you could do is prep a bunch of French fries. Go crazy on peeling them and then slicing them. If you want to use your Cuisinart or your food processor and it has one of those attachments to make fries, all the better. These are these little skinny guys again. Let's check cam 2. Yeah, awesome. That worked, right? So here's a big handful of fries. And these are ready to go. They came straight out of the freezer. They don't stick together. What you do is you put them on a tray, right? You can go back up on one. So when you come out of the fryer for the first blanch, right? So if you're with me, you got your peeled potatoes, you slice them, vinegar in the water. You've got your fry oil, 325 Fahrenheit. The fries go in, you want to drain them off. Try not to get as much moisture in there as possible. In the fryer the first time, stir them, stir them, stir them. They're going to spit water and spew water out because that's what it does. We want to get rid of the moisture in the potatoes. You're going to see the bubbles getting smaller, and that's how you know that you're just about done on your blanch. No color on the blanch whatsoever. If you see these fries here, right? These are white. White as paper. And then on the second fry, we just cranked our oil back up to 375. We're gonna drop the fries. I'm gonna cook a steak. We're gonna put steak frites together. You guys can check out a little pan-cooked steak too. I think it's something cool. I've got a chuck steak from Pat LaFreda in the sous vide. I'm gonna pull that out. And guys, take a look at steaks in a pan. Skinny ribeye steak, mushroom pan sauce. Let's go. Season your steak, salt and pepper. Don't be afraid to use kosher salt and plenty of it. Want to get both sides. And a liberal coating of black pepper. While your pan's heating up, let's go ahead and get the sauce ready. We're going to mince some shallot, nice and fine. And 1 clove of garlic, also minced fine. Next, let's take some mushrooms and slice them nice and thin. These are cremini mushrooms, but any little button mushroom will work just fine. You want everything sort of the same size here so it cooks at the same time. We've got Dijon mustard and some creme fraiche to finish the sauce. And nice little fresh chives as well. In a smoking hot pan, a little clarified butter,
In goes the seasoned ribeye. Want to make sure it's nice and flat in the pan. I like to use a stainless steel pan for this. Got a nice crust developing. Again, make sure it's flat. Flip it over. It only takes a few minutes per side. Now we're going to go ahead and start the sauce. Hit it with a little butter and some herbs. Pull the steak out. We're going to bring the pan back up to heat. In that same pan, we're going to do some shallot. The shallot and the garlic, we'll saute that until it's nice and soft. In go the mushrooms. So in that same pan where you cook the steak, you're going to have nice flavor building up, or some fond. Here we're going to deglaze with some brandy. Flame that off. Hit it with a little mushroom stock. Now your Dijon. 1 teaspoon of Dijon, 1 teaspoon of creme fraiche. Stir that in. Now the heat's turned down to about medium. Finish it with a little black pepper. Now let's slice our steak and take it to the plate. Enjoy!
Boom, 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 boom. There it is. Steak in a pan. Not sticks in the plane, sticks in the pan. What do you guys think so far, huh? We banged out fish and chips, Jeremiah Bullfrog style, a little tongue-in-cheek play on chips. I've showed you the prep for fries. You guys are more than capable now of making potato chips in your home. And then I'm gonna cook a steak. We're gonna drop some fries. The oil has come up to temp, but first I want to drop. Let's go down to 2. Going back with just this grapeseed oil in the pan. The pan is hot. We're going gas here, and we've got induction. So tons of technology cracking off. I've got my steak that's seasoned. It's already been sous vide. So all we need to do is get a nice crust on it, and we're slicing this sucker up, and we've got steak frites, guys. Again, any questions on potato cookery, potatoes being fried? Let me know right now. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on the other side. So we'll turn this up a little. And here we go with the fries. And you see, these fries are going to cook pretty quickly. You know, this oil is hot. I'm actually going to come down with the oil a bit, because they're going to cook real fast. These are skinny little French fries that have already been blanched, and all they need to do is be crisped up. Shout out to J.R. Simplot and McDonald's for doing the research for us. So we froze our fries. You guys can prep a ton of fries and just keep them in the freezer after you blanch them. And look at that. What was that? A minute? Not even. And you've got these perfect little fries. They're starting to get golden brown. We're going to start pulling them out. I'm a big fan of these skinny fries these days. You know, if you wanted to go seasoned fries, you could do like salt with like smoked paprika. You know, I'm a purist. I like just to do a little salt dusting while your potatoes are still hot. You know, like super Frenchy would be to chop up some parsley and to sprinkle some parsley or some fiends herbs right over your fries. Back up on 1 for a sec. So voila, just like that, we got a big old pile of frites. Beautiful crispy fries. Boom. Let's get a better one. Boom. Nice creamy interior. We're going to season these suckers up. So I like to take the fries in the bowl. While we're doing that, take a look at our steak real quick. I'm going to give this a flip. Look at the crust on that. Turn down the heat on that. But our steak's just about done. We got a big old pile of fries here. We're going to season them up with salt so they taste delicious. You know, I've got a little fresh thyme. So in the pan with that, you want to look down real quick on 2. Yep, you can see when you're finishing steak. You probably saw it in the video also, is you could baste it with butter, hit it with some fresh herbs, and it just makes your meat super, super delicious. Back up on 1. And that's it, guys. We're bringing this sucker to a close. 2 dishes on the episode. Not only did you see potato chips, you saw play on fish and chips. Not only did you see French fries, pommes frites, now you're going to see steak frites. Let's take it out with a little beef basting. Let's call it just steak porn. Right, back down. Yeah, you're seeing this. Look at that. Look how lovely. Put some of these herbs on the steak. And we're just going to baste it. This butter is browning beautifully. What do you guys think? This is a great, like a butcher's cut. Very similar to like a Denver steak. It comes from the chuck. Comes out amazing. Bang for your buck, I think right now. You can't beat a chuck steak as far as flavor, tenderness. It's got everything you want in a steak. Back up on 1. So our steak is cooked. Our fries are cooked. We're gonna take this baby out of the pan. Cool thing about sous vide steak is it doesn't need to rest nearly as much. And then back down to 2 for 1 sec. Let me just show you this. So I like to take this butter and just go right over the steak. We won't do the pan sauce today, guys, but I think you saw it in the video. Again, any questions on pommes frites, please let me know. I'm going to start slicing this baby up. I also have a little fresh thyme. I'm going to sprinkle my French fries with a little fresh herbs. You know, get a little Frenchy with it. Give it a quick chop. You can come up to 1, Jose. Let me talk to my people. Guys, what do you think? Pommes frites episode, was it worth it? Are you gonna make French fries? Are you gonna make potato chips? Are these the crispiest chips you ever done seen? Tell me what you think. Let me know. Drop it in the comments. Show me some love. Give me a thumbs up. Like, subscribe, all that goodness. Here we go. Taking it to the plate. Let's take a look. Back down on 2. So we're going to take this beautiful steak. We'll take the herbs off. We'll take it on our beautiful booze block here. I've got a nice sharp knife. And what I like to do is, you could see the lines on this steak I like to follow. It almost has a cap. So it's like seam butchery. You just take it apart. And I'm going to give you a couple of wonderful slices of this bad boy. Whoo-wee! Perfectly medium rare. Right away, onto the plate we go. Huge mound of these pommes frites right next to it. And there it is, guys. No steak sauce necessary. Steak frites in the bag. Shout out to my dude Lenny for rocking with me since day one. There it is. Let's take a look on 2. It's probably a better angle. Boom. Boom. Beautiful steak frites. You guys can make this at home, I guarantee. Back up on 1. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate y'all hanging out. We're getting, week by week, we're just locking these things down. Next week, I want to get into a little mapo tofu. Mapo tofu, one of my favorite authentic Chinese dishes. We did leftovers last season. This season, we're going straight from scratch. We're going to get into some of those mala flavors. Tune in next week, every Wednesday. Jeremiah Bullfrog Cuts it up live. Appreciate y'all. 7 p.m. Peace.